Okay, today we are going to look at how we can convert measurements, and this time we're going to be looking at mixed numbers, which is a little different than yesterday when we only looked at fractions. So yesterday when we looked at this, let's say problem C, we were doing 5/6 feet equals how many inches. We would follow our converting steps, which is first figuring out our conversion factor, that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Then deciding if it's going to be a big unit or a small unit. So feet and inches. Feet are bigger than inches, so big to small. And then deciding if big to small means I'm multiplying or dividing. Going big to small does mean I'm multiplying. So then I would multiply. You're going to follow those exact same steps today, but you have to just deal with that it's a mixed number. So it's just going to be a little bit more challenging for us. But we're going to still follow those steps. So we already figured out we're going to multiply. So our problem is going to be 3 5/6 times 12 is going to give us our answer in inches, which makes sense because feet are a bigger unit. There's more inches in every single foot. So when we're looking at our total answer in inches, we're going to get a bigger numbered answer, which is why we're multiplying. When you multiply here, you have a couple options because it's a mixed number times a whole number. Now, option number 1 is to convert this into an improper fraction. Option number 2 is to distribute your 12 and do 12 times 3 and 12 times 5/6 and then add them together. So I'm going to show you both really quick, the 2 different ways you could think about this. So option number 1 is our improper fraction method, which means I'm going to look at 3 5/6 and say, if I wanted to write that as just a fraction, how would I do so? I know a 3 can be written as a fraction because 1 is worth 6/6. So 3 of them is worth 6/6, 6/6, and 6/6, or 18/6 plus 5/6, which equals 23/6. That's how we would write 3 5/6 as an improper fraction. Taking that 3 and turning it into with denominators of 6 or 18/6 and adding it to our fraction and to get 23/6. Then I'm going to multiply it by 12. Well, I know from previous that I can simplify this. 6 and 12, 6 can be divided by 6 to get 1. 12 can be divided by 6 to get 2. So then I'm just doing 23 times 2, which is 46 inches. So that's option number 1, where we converted 3 5/6 into an improper fraction and then multiplied. Option 2 is where you distribute. So I'm going to do 3 5/6 times 12, and I'm going to do 2 different equations and do 3 times 12 plus 5/6 times 12. Well, 3 times 12 is 36. 5/6 times 12 is 10. So I get 46 inches. Same answer. I just didn't deal with an improper fraction in this problem. I separated them out, and I just made sure to multiply each of those times 12. For me, either way works. I'm probably going to gear more towards the improper fraction method just because I know that's a little more consistent, and that's how I learned how to do it. But whatever way works for you works for me. So let's try problem F. 33 months equals how many years? So again, conversion factor, 12 months is equal to 1 year. Months are smaller than years. So I'm going from small to big. So going from small to big means I'm going to divide. So 33 divided by 12 is going to give us our answer in years. We can write that as 33 twelfths or 2 9 twelfths. But I'm still not done because I can simplify that. 9 and 12 can both be divided by 3. So I end up with 2 3/4 years. So you can see we're starting to get to the time where it's not always going to be the same operation. Last night's homework, it was always divide. We were dividing for every single one because we were always going from small to big. In tonight's work, you have to judge for yourself and decide, Am I going to multiply because I'm going from a big unit to a smaller unit, or am I going to divide because I'm going from a smaller unit to a bigger unit? So you have to do all of your steps and do it clearly so you're going to know what operation to do. Practice in a word problem. Horace buys 2 3/4 pounds of blueberries for a pie. He needs 48 pounds of blueberries for the pie. How many more pounds of blueberries does he need to buy? So 2 3/4 pounds of blueberries is what he has. He needs 48 ounces, and we want to know how many more he needs to buy. So right now I've got two numbers, but they're in different units. So I need to convert. I'm going to go and make my life easier and get rid of my fraction and try to go from pounds to ounces. Actually, no. I'm going to change that, mind, because if I look at my question, how many more pounds of blueberries does he need to buy? I might as well turn it to pounds now. So I'm going to go ounces to pounds. So 48 ounces equals how many pounds? That's my first step. I need to turn this into pounds. Well, I know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Ounces are smaller than pounds. So when I go from a small unit to a larger unit, I am dividing. 48 divided by 16. Well, that's the same thing as saying 48 sixteenths. I know that I can 16 times 2 is 32. And it looks like, yep, it'll go perfectly even to 3. So that means he needs 3 pounds of blueberries for the pie. So let's reread the problem. Horace buys 2 3/4 pounds of blueberries for a pie. He needs 3 pounds of blueberries for the pie. How many more pounds of blueberries does he need to buy? Well, now it's a lot easier for us to see that he needs 3 pounds of blueberries. He already has 2 3/4 of a pound. So we want to know what else he needs. Looking at my tape diagram, I know this is a subtraction problem. 3 minus 2 3/4. I cannot do this. Some of us might be able to see the answer right away, but just bear with my subtraction. Can't do this. I'm going to turn this into 2 4/4 minus 2 3/4 because I'm borrowing from the 3. And that's going to give me 1/4. So Horace needs to buy 1/4 a pound of blueberries. So again, same basic steps. Deciding on your conversion factor, then deciding if you're going from a small unit to a big unit or a big unit to small unit, and doing your math based off of that.